I gave you my heart.
What's up, Pride Nation? Back at you with another one on today. This is Noble Sports Entertainment. Please make sure you hit the subscription button, and when you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell and click on all so that you'll get all uploads and notifications from Noble Sports Entertainment. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Detroit Sports Alliance. Their links will be below in the description. All right, guys, without further ado, we're going to talk some Detroit Lions football on today as things are ramping up and the Lions are coming near to an end to make some very, very tough decisions on who's going to make this roster and who's going to be a part of this 53-man roster Detroit Lions football team. There's some key things going into this one, guys. One, the Detroit Lions cut quarterback David Fales on today and signed quarterback Luis Perez to replace him. So it looks like the Lions were not satisfied with the work of David Fales. Initially in that first game, David Fales looked awful, but in the second game, he played extremely well. And then the last game was pretty much mediocre or so-so. And the Lions decided to part ways with David Fales on today, signing a quarterback from the AAF Football League, the league that was just canceled a few months ago, and a league that I thought that was going to eventually thrive, but it did not thrive as long as I thought that it would. I thought it would give some of these players an opportunity to get back into the NFL because a lot of these guys have tried out for NFL teams before, but they just did not make it. So they're taking Luis Perez, who was the quarterback for the Birmingham Iron, and pretty much they're going to see what they get out of him. Now, the biggest thing is you got Tom Savage coming back off concussion protocol, and then you have Teez Tabor coming back, as well as Tyrell Crosby. All of these guys are coming back from injury, so I expect to see some of these guys be implemented into the game, especially with Teez Tabor. You do not know if Teez is going to make the squad or not. Teez has played an exceptionally well in the training camp, and he has not got an opportunity to play in the preseason, and I definitely know that the Lions are going to want to see him because they're going to have to make some very, very tough decisions. It's going to be some guys that are very good players that should make the roster and should be on this team that will not. And some of these guys will end up going to the practice team, and some of these guys will end up going to other NFL teams. When you're trying out for a team, you gotta know that you're trying out for the NFL teams as a whole. Even though you might be with the Lions right now, you never know. You might be with the Texans next week or the Patriots or whoever. You never know what team is going to pick you up. So you always got to be ready, and you got to stay ready if you're an NFL player. But hopefully, man, Teez Tabor can make the roster. You know, maybe Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia will have grace on him because he was playing extremely well as far as the training camp went. He was doing well. He was intercepting passes, and he was being smarter out there. And it's on Detroit to make these tough decisions, man. But they're going to have to do what they got to do to make sure that this team can be competitive and that this team has an opportunity to make it to the postseason this year. We would love to see the Detroit Lions in the postseason. So some of the things that I'm looking for in this game against Cleveland is basically not for the starters to play, but mainly so for some of these guys that are trying to make the roster. You're going to see a lot of these guys, whether they're linemen or linebackers or corners or running backs or whatever it may be, whatever positions they may be vying for, the number 2 quarterback spot. You're going to see a lot of guys be competitive out there because they know this is their last opportunity to make this Detroit Lions squad, but it does not mean that their NFL career is over. It just means that they didn't make it to be a part of the Detroit Lions this season, and the Lions did not see fit to keep those guys on the roster, even though they're going to have to make tough decisions and cut guys. Now, the biggest things I want to see in this game too is I want to see some of these wide receivers make their impact in the game. I want to see Travis Fulgham, Brandon Powell, and some of these other guys make some noise. And if these guys are able to make some noise, man, skies is the limit for the Detroit Lions. So we're going to see what teams, about that, guys, what player is going to leave its mark on the field? What player is going to make an impact in this last game to be able to make the roster? A player that was on this team that probably was on the roster bubble, but will change the mind of Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn to be a part of this team. We don't know if Teez Tabor will make the team, but what we do know is that he will be given an opportunity. I know that we're going to see a lot of Teez because he has not played pretty much in the preseason. It's been the other corners getting the reps and the work. Now we got to see what Teez is made of, and do he have what it takes to make this roster, or will Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia show Teez Tabor the grace because he played so well in training camp? Will they still allow him to make this team? So I can't wait, man. I can't wait to see what players that are going to have that dog mentality, players that know that, hey, man, I want to be a part of what Detroit is doing and changing the culture. And changing the culture of the Lions is not an easy thing to do, but you got to have players that's buying in from day one. And I think finally these guys are finally buying in. And I told you guys, players got to buy in from day one. I told you all the way from the OTAs over to training camp, and then it goes over to preseason, and then it heads over to the regular season. These guys got to buy in, and hopefully Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn will find the guys on this team that want to change the culture, guys that want to play and they're hungry to win. If you get players on this team that's hungry to win, that's never won before, then you're working with something. Like I told you before, the biggest thing that the Lions have to do this offseason is get that offensive line better. And hopefully the offensive line will be a lot better this year, because we don't go anywhere if this offensive line doesn't get better. You mark my words, we have a better offensive line. You'll see a better production out of Kerryon Johnson. You'll see better production out of receivers. You'll see better production out of Matthew Stafford. And you'll get better production out of every player that's a part of that offensive unit. So you guys let me know in the comment section, what are some of the things that you want to see the Lions get better in, and what are some of the things the Lions can do as they approach week 1 against the Arizona Cardinals. Make sure you guys subscribe to Noble Sports Entertainment, because we simply talk sports, period. I'm out of here. Till next time. Peace.
I give you my heart.